All right, ready to dive into something really cool. We're talking 3D printing today, like full-on lasers, melted plastic, building the future, kind of cool.
Definitely cool.
We're looking at this awesome career 3D printing technician, and we're going deep with info straight from RoleCatcher, these career gurus.
It's a game changer, this whole 3D printing thing. I mean, it's revolutionizing how we make stuff. This deep dive is going to give you everything you need to know to really make it in this field.
So 3D printing technician, what's it really mean? It's got to be more than just hitting print, right?
Oh, way more. We're talking problem solvers, creators. RoleCatcher talks about designing complex 3D models, and not just on paper, using software like AutoCAD.
The real deal.
Then you've got the hands-on part, running those awesome machines, keeping them humming, even fixing them when they decide to throw a fit.
Troubleshooting. Almost like a detective, but for 3D printers.
Exactly. And don't forget about the people skills. You're working with clients, turning their ideas into real 3D objects. Communication is key.
So you're like a bridge between imagination and reality. That's pretty cool. But things change fast in tech, right? What does RoleCatcher say about keeping up?
It's nonstop learning, for sure. Online courses, industry blogs, maybe even some conferences. It's a career that rewards you for being curious and staying ahead of the game.
Gotcha. So you're hands-on with amazing tech, but also constantly learning. Okay, paint me a picture. Where are 3D printing technicians working? Super sleek labs. Or more like a workshop with a 3D printer in the corner.
Think design studios, high-tech factories, even research labs straight out of a movie.
Sign me up. Though I'm guessing safety goggles are non-negotiable as materials, fumes.
You got it. It's not all fun in games, right? But that's a whole other part of the story. The pros and cons. We'll dive into that next.
So, pros and cons. Every job has them. What does RoleCatcher say about the reality of being a 3D printing technician?
Well, the good news is the demand is through the roof.
Really?
RoleCatcher says we're looking at 9% growth over the next 10 years. That's huge. It means lots of opportunities for anyone who's ready to jump in.
9%? That's not just growth, that's like printing money. Why wouldn't everyone want to get into 3D printing?
It's exciting. It's the future. Plus, you're working with cutting-edge tech, making things that never existed before. That's got to be rewarding.
Okay, I'm sold. But can't be all sunshine and 3D roses, right?
Right. RoleCatcher does mention that moving up the ladder can be tricky. Going from beginner to, say, senior technician, that's clear. But after that, might need more education, more specialized skills.
Makes sense. Like any field, you got to keep learning to climb that ladder. And we talked about the cool work environments, but what about the downsides?
Oh, safety's a big one. RoleCatcher talks about the materials, the fumes. It's not your typical desk job.
Right, you can't exactly wear a tie and slacks while handling molten plastic.
Exactly. And then there's the cost. This
Right.
stuff isn't cheap. Equipment, material.
Yeah, you're not going to find a high-end 3D printer on clearance. So, being practical, someone's got to weigh those factors. Passion's great, but so is paying the bills.
Absolutely. You got to find that balance, right? But okay, let's say you're all in. What's RoleCatcher's advice for breaking into the field?
Yeah, give me the roadmap from newbie to 3D printing rockstar.
Experience, experience, experience. Internships, apprenticeships, even just messing around with your own 3D printer at home. Build that portfolio.
Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Like, here's a mini Death Star I printed in my basement.
Why, exactly. Employers eat that up.
What about skills? What are they looking for, besides the obvious?
CAD software is huge.
Mm.
And I don't just mean knowing how to turn it on. You got to be fluent.
The Picasso of polygons. RoleCatcher mentioned programming, too, right? That's next-level stuff.
It is. Python, C++, add. These languages give you serious control over the printer.
So, not just a user, but like a 3D printing whisperer. Don't tell me there's more.
Materials. Got to know your stuff. What works for what, how to troubleshoot.
It's like being a chef, but for plastic, right?
Exactly. Okay, so you've got the skills. You've got a killer portfolio.
Time for the interview. Didn't RoleCatcher have some killer resources for that? Like thousands of practice questions?
120,000. I know, it's crazy. But hey, better to be overprepared, right?
Hit me with one. What's a question that'll make an interviewer go, whoa, this one knows their stuff?
How would you troubleshoot a 3D printer that's gone haywire? That'll show me you can think on your feet.
Yeah, like a 3D printer's throwing a tantrum, and you've got to be the printer whisperer to calm it down.
Exactly. It shows you're not afraid of a challenge, that you can problem solve. And the cool thing is, RoleCatcher doesn't just throw you to the wolves. They give you ways to structure your answers, what to focus on, like how to handle those tricky behavioral questions.
Okay, so you ace the interview, you're in. Now what? What's the path look like from newbie to, like, 3D printing master?
RoleCatcher says it's pretty straightforward, at least at the beginning. You start by learning the ropes, assisting the senior techs. As you get experience, you get more responsibility, maybe even leading small projects or mentoring new hires.
So you pay your dues, climb that ladder. What about reaching the top? What makes a senior level 3D printing technician stand out?
That's where you go from doing to leading. Think, innovating new techniques, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. You're not just printing anymore, you're shaping the future of the field.
Wow, okay. From printer whisperer to like 3D printing oracle. But let's zoom out a bit. What's your take on where 3D printing's headed?
The coolest part is we're just getting started. RoleCatcher talked about how these printers are becoming more affordable, more accessible. That's a game changer.
Right. It's not just big companies anymore. Now it's small businesses, even people at home who can get in on this. What does that mean for job prospects?
More opportunity. We're going to need people who can handle these machines, fix them, teach others how to use them. Imagine 3D printers being as common as, like, microwaves are now.
Wow. We'll need 3D printing techs everywhere. What about the materials? I read about some crazy new stuff coming out.
That's the other mind-blowing part. We're talking metals, ceramics, even materials you can use in medicine. The possibilities are endless.
Hold on. Printing replacement organs? Building a house with a giant 3D printer? That sounds like something out of a movie.
And it could be reality soon. It's changing so fast, which is why RoleCatcher really emphasizes always learning, evolving. That's the key to thriving in this field.
So to all our listeners, if you're even a little bit curious about 3D printing, go for it. Explore it. This is a field where you can really make a difference. Huge thanks to RoleCatcher for the amazing insights. And to everyone listening, thanks for diving deep with us. Keep that curiosity burning, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive into the future of work.